when we're meditating, it's very helpful to break experience up into groups. Now, what I mean by experience is when we're meditating, everything that comes to us is an experience. So we're more concerned about what something feels like than what we think it is. This is important. This is very important for the practice. The Buddha gave 4 different groups to break up these experiences. He talks about them in the Satipatthana Sutta. So they're the areas to develop mindfulness on. The first area is kaya. Kaya is body. So it's not the image of our body, what it is it's how we experience our body. So how do we experience our body? How do we know we've got a body?
With all our senses.
No, how do we know?
How do we know?
How do we know we've got a body? How do you know you're sitting on a chair at the moment? You can feel it. It has certain sensations. If you're leaning against the back of the chair, there's a feeling of pressure. So you know from that, I am leaning against the back of a chair. If you're sitting on the chair, you'll feel hardness here. Oh, I can even know, oh, my feet are on the ground, my feet are on the cushion. My body is sitting on a cushion. We can feel it because the feeling of sitting on the floor on a cushion is different to the feeling of sitting on a chair. We take this for granted, but this is how our brains interpret the world all the time, through the changing sensations in our body. I've mentioned before, I pick up the cup, oh, the cup's heavy. I don't have to look at it, I know there's still water there. I know it because of the heaviness. If I picked up the cup and it was light, what would I think? Yeah, I'd think, oh, it's time to go and get some more water. Yeah? Oh, this is light. I feel dryness in my mouth. Time to get more water. But what's telling us this is dryness and lightness. What's telling me I'm holding the cup is that feeling of hardness and pressure and heaviness or lightness. And this is how our brains interpret the world all the time. So what we do in mindfulness meditation is we want to get down to experience before the story about it. Before the story of, oh, this is my cup, not your cup. You can't use this cup because this is mine. Before we get into that, just how do I experience a cup? Hard, heavy, cool. Yeah? That's the key to developing mindfulness meditation. This is really important because on the outside level, the level of the story of my life, yeah? I have a wife, I live in a home, I have a job, I have friends, I have students. This is the story of my life. It's getting created all the time. It's got all its up and down dramas and everything, and the fear of the economy and all that sort of stuff. We try to deal up with it on that level, it never ends because we're always creating this story all the time. And so when you're sitting meditating and you find your mind is wandering off thinking all the time, what is it doing? It's wandering off to write the script of your life. My mind wanders, what's it doing? It's repeating the story of my life to me and it's reinforcing it to me. And whatever I'm thinking about is what I actually believe my life is. If I think I'm a hopeless loser, I'll start to believe that if I think it often enough. Because that's what it does. That's what the mind does. It churns over the story. Watch it creating the story. It's supposed to do that. But what this is all driven by is our relationship to these sensations, these feelings underneath the story. The thing is, we don't see the experience underneath the story. We don't see how we experience the world. Hardness, pressure, heaviness, lightness, warm, cool. Oh, I should put on a jumper. I'm cold. Well, I'm not cold, I'm just feeling coolness. Yeah? I'll have to go and buy a thinner shirt because I'm feeling really hot. I'm not hot, I'm just feeling warmth. Warmth is more dominant in my body than coolness. This is where it's going on. I don't like warmth when it becomes strong, so I have to get rid of it by changing my clothing. These sensations in our body are changing all the time. Our relationship to them is the key. So what we first need to do is build up our mindfulness to increase our concentration so we can be very aware of the sensations within our body. Be aware of them when they're present, be aware of their changing nature. This is really important. That's kaya, body. The next one we'll skip over. Group number 2. Group number 3 is chitta, mind. Mindfulness is part of mind. Awareness, being aware of things, is part of mind. Concentration is part of mind. These are skillful qualities. Yeah? Our different mind states. Restless, sleepy, dull, clear, doubt. They're all states of mind. Our states of mind changes all the time. Yeah? Thinking, judgments, liking, disliking, they're all part of mind as well. Yeah? We can observe them. They are separate. Thinking is separate from the sensations in the body. Awareness is separate from the sensations in the body. Mindfulness, concentration, separate. The mental confusion is separate from the sensations in the body. Yeah? Dullness, clearness, restlessness, sleepiness, they're separate. But notice when your state of mind changes, the sensations in your body change. They're separate, but they're in relationship with each other. When I'm in love, my body feels light. When I break up with this person I was in love with, my body feels heavy and tight. It's reflecting what's going on. Can you see? Every time your state of mind changes, your body changes. If you're feeling anxiety, what you're doing is feeling anxious feelings in the body, but you're missing the mental relationship that has changed. It's saying, no, this should not be happening. I don't want this to be here. We're missing it completely. All we're is obsessed. These sensations are here. People come up to me all the time and say, Stephen, how do I get rid of these sensations? Yeah? They want to get rid of them. What's wrong with them? They're just sensations. They're just a reflection. They're just your body telling you what's going on mentally. That's all they are. Mind and body interact. The fourth one is dharmas. Dharmas is a big group, but we're only going to look at dharmas can cover understanding process, but we're not even going to go there today. Let's just look at this as being seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. Our 5 senses in which we listen to the world. The world contacts us, contacts our body. We feel the world. We feel it through smell. So smell contacts the nose, we smell it. Taste, light, sound. Each one of these doors is individual. They're not the same thing. They're all separate, aren't they? You can't see through your body. You can't hear through your nose. You can't taste through your eyes. They're very specific doorways to the world. They're sensitive to those things, yeah? So what happens here, again, when these things come in, the third group, mind, contacts them. So when a sight comes in, there's awareness of it. When a sound comes in, there's awareness of it. Taste, smell, touch, there's awareness of it. Yeah? This is really important. This is how these groups, they're separate groups, but they play with each other. The mind comes in contact with them. But also the sensations in the body. When a sensation in our body comes up, the mind contacts the sensation. If I feel tight in my body, there's knowing of that tightness. Yeah? If I feel warm, there's knowing of it. If I feel uncomfortable, whatever, heavy, whatever it is, there's knowing of it. So the mind sits in the middle, right? Our mind sits in the middle and it knows our body, but it also knows, right? Hello. It knows our body, but it also knows sight, sound, smells, tastes, whatever. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's the important one, group number 2. Group number 2. The important one is group number 2, Vedana. This is where it's all about, Vedana. That is pleasantness, the pleasant or unpleasant feeling tone that permeates all experience. Yeah? Right? This pleasantness or unpleasantness is conditioned. It's trained. It's a trained judgment, a trained response. Yeah? To all these things. So if I'm trained to, okay, since I'm a male I always use a pretty girl. I'm walking down the street. My eye's drawn to this pretty girl. I'm attracted to her. There's an automatic attractiveness. My eye goes to her. When it contacts with that girl, straight away, a pleasant feeling permeates that experience. That's that pleasantness. It permeates the whole experience. I then feel that pleasantness and want to keep looking at her. Want to keep thinking about her so I can relive that pleasantness. Even when she's gone, I keep bringing that thought up. I'm thinking about her again and again and again to relive that pleasantness. In reality, it's got nothing to do with the girl. Absolutely nothing. I'm after that pleasant feeling that I get when I think about her, when I look at her. Yeah? I want to relive that. And you can see that in society, how that's used all the time. I want that pleasant feeling again and again, so I chase after it. I'm addicted to it. Yeah? I'll do anything to get it. While I'm turning my attention to her and that pleasant feeling, my wife is becoming unpleasant, unattractive. This is how it works. But this is how the mind works. When the mind turns external to something else, going after unpleasantness, we start being ungrateful for what we've actually got. And we start to destroy what we've got because we're turning away. Grass is always greener. I want more. It's an addiction. We become addicted to it. That pleasantness can be found in gambling, in drugs, in alcohol, in sex, in having new relationships all the time, power in a job, in exercise, in food. Going shopping. We chase after that pleasant feeling that arises. That's a conditioned pleasant feeling, but we're chasing after pleasant feeling in physical things. And they always let us down because eventually the other person can't provide that feeling or the thing can't provide it, and then we're disappointed. Then we get down. We go really down. Unpleasant feeling. If I hear a sound and I don't like it, I don't think it should be there, it's disturbing my meditation. Straight away, as soon as my mind contacts that sound, unpleasant feeling. I don't want it. I don't want it to be there. My reaction is to pull away from that. Yeah? If I can't get away from it, then I start to get irritated, I start getting angry, and I start getting physical to try to push it away. First verbal, then physical. But the sound isn't the problem. The problem is my relationship to the unpleasant feeling tone that permeates it. Pleasantness and unpleasantness, and this is the same when the mind contacts the body. These sensations I like. These sensations I don't like. These shouldn't be there. These should be there all the time. That's our relationship to pleasant or unpleasant. So if you watch yourself, if you feel anxiety, sensations come up in your body that you assume are judging as unpleasant until you want them to go. But the sensations aren't the problem. The problem is you're perceiving those sensations as unpleasant. And so you want to get away from them. Well, guess what? You can't run away from yourself. You can't run away from your own perceptions. If your perception is faulty, you can't run away from it. You can go all over this planet, you can even jump on with NASA and go to Mars or whatever, but your perceptions will go with you because they're trained. This is the karmic seed. In Buddhism, this is the karmic seed. When we react to something by pulling away, we've actually planted the potential for an unpleasant feeling to arise next time we experience that. If we react in a way of grabbing or chasing after something, an experience, the next time something similar arises, it's got the potential to have that pleasant feeling embedded into it. This pleasant and unpleasant feeling drives us. It makes us move. It makes us react. So the reason why we break these things up in a group: body, sensations, mind, knowing, thinking, liking, disliking, judging, external dharmas, yeah? So seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, is when you can see these groups as separate. The sound separate from the liking of it. The reaction in your body is separate from that as well. Then what you do is you have these 3 different groups, and then you can notice how, when the mind contacts a sound, a sight, a smell, a taste, a touch, or when the mind contacts a sensation in the body, the second group, Vedana, pleasant or unpleasant feeling tone, permeates the experience, and it appears as a taste. It's the taste of pleasantness. It's the taste of unpleasantness. Now, if you haven't judged it as being good or bad, you don't know what the experience is. Usually we're neutral until we categorise it. It's an I don't know. And usually I don't know is you can walk down the street and your attention won't turn towards it. But when you know, you'll have a reaction to it. And that's fixed. Every time you react, you strengthen that pleasantness or unpleasantness. The addictive quality of both becomes stronger. The reactive quality becomes stronger. So to wind it up, what we're doing in this practice, by sitting here and trying to observe that the sounds are separate that you're hearing when you're meditating, the sensations in your body are separate, and the knowing of it, the thinking, likes, judgment, all different groups, you will start to become aware of that pleasantness and unpleasantness. When you're aware of that, what you do is you use deep, gentle breathing to relax into the pull of the pleasantness. You use the deep, gentle breathing to relax into the drive, the push away of the unpleasantness. Then we're not worried about the sensations, we're not worried about the sound, we're not worried about the thoughts or the story, we're worried about our relationship to it. When you relax into that, the impulse to react becomes lower. When it becomes lower, you won't react to that. In not reacting it, you're not planting more potentials of reaction in the future. You're actually weakening that reaction, you're changing that reaction. And that's how mindfulness protects you. It allows you to be with this without reacting. Then what happens is that conditioned reaction starts to decondition. The neural pathways in your brain literally start to change. Your relationship to that experience changes. You could feel anxious feelings in your body, but you would have no desire whatsoever to respond. Nothing's driving you. When that goes, the mental resistance drops and the sensations in the body completely disappear and you don't feel anxiety at all. This works for addiction, this works for repulsion towards things. Exactly the same. This is why I was talking about breaking up into groups last week. And this is where this practice goes at its deepest level. Because eventually at the highest level, you become such that your mind doesn't categorise anything as being pleasant or unpleasant. Your perception doesn't judge anything. It just takes it on its merit for what it is. So you actually have choice. Before that, there's no choice. Can you see? Did that make sense? Fantastic.